Michelle, just confirming that we're at 55.8% of members, so you have a quorum to start at 7:30 p.m.
Thanks, Daniel.
Snowfall will be the outlying areas. We could see snow falling in Canberra, but far more likely about the surrounding ranges. Sydney cold and windy, some rain clearing from Brisbane. We will see snow possible.
Okay, Daniel, we'll get started. Hopefully it's not snowing where you are. So there we go. I'm Michelle McCrum. For all of those that I haven't had a chance to meet, I'm the chairperson for Knox Basketball, and I want to welcome you to the 2020 AGM. It's not being held, unfortunately, at the Knox function room at Boronia because of the COVID restrictions. But before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge to say that Knox Basketball acknowledges the traditional custodians of the various lands on which we are all meeting. We recognise their continuing connection to land, water and culture, and we pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. If at any time during this conference you have a question, you can put it into the chat box. We've got a couple of our board members watching that. We can't answer all of them necessarily, but we'll give it a good go. And hopefully, for those of you that had to go through this process last year, it will the technology will continue to work. So I need to confirm that the COVID-19 threat and restrictions mandated by the government on the limitation of numbers at gatherings, the board has taken the necessary steps to enact Rule 21.3C from our Knox Basketball Constitution, where we will conduct this 2020 AGM via technology that allows you, the members, life members and delegates to join electronically. And I believe, Daniel, you've now got your list that we need to track. We have also delivered the KBI financial report via email. If you haven't seen that and would like access to it, please let Grant Harrison, our CEO, know. We've also postponed the KBI board elections and will conduct an email voting process via Vero over the next week. You should have received this evening an invite to do that voting if you are a delegate that has rights to vote. So again, we'll talk about that a bit more in the AGM. So all other matters of circumstance will be maintained for the 2020 AGM. And Ian Williams from Ferntree Gully Falcons, I understand you were happy to move a motion that the format and conduct of this meeting be accepted and that any challenge arising from any procedural irregularity in or to the conduct of the meeting be waived. Thank you, Ian. And to Leanne Crease from Southeast Eagles, I understand you have seconded the motion, so thank you for the second. So in respect of the new bylaw to enable us to confirm the eligible attendees and confirm that we have a quorum, I just want to remind you that you need to continue to be registered individually on this call with your correct full name. And I think we've just checked all of those, Daniel, so we should be good to go. And just for noting, the meeting is recorded. It is made available in case someone wants to access it after the meeting, and also for us to ensure that we capture the correct minutes. Okay, so I'll take one little breath there for a minute. Okay, now we're going to go into apologies, and we have a number of apologies. I will call out the life members who have registered their apologies for this evening, and that's Bill and Diane Fenton, Dennis Smith, Denise Gow, Heather Reed, Neil and Teresa Quinn, and Helen Bone. So if I've missed any apologies from life members, please let us know.
Michelle,
and the other apologies.
That Dennis Smith has dialed in.
Dennis Smith
Smith
dialed
is online.
in. My apology was for the last meeting.
Thanks, Dennis. Fantastic. Nice to have you. The other apologies we have this evening, Tony Doyle, the Knox Council CEO, Nick Wakeling, MP, and Jackson Taylor, MP. They're both in Parliament, and they have sent messages to Grant Harrison that they will try to join us if they can. And Chris Littlechild, our chaplain, has sent his apologies. So at this stage, those are the apologies that we've received. If there's any others that people are aware of, you can shoot it through on the chat, and I can follow back up. Kerry Williams is saying there's no volume. Are you okay, Kerry, or is it still the case? Nope.
I can confirm the volume's working fine, Michelle. If there's an issue, it's at Kerry's end.
Okay, we'll continue to move on then. Acknowledging our life members who are present. That's John Michelle, Dennis Smith, Joy Mundy, Patricia Vaughan, and Ros Ullman. So welcome to all of those in attendance. Okay. Let's have a look now at the minutes. So Grant sent the minutes out earlier with our correspondence about the meeting and asked for any feedback on the minutes. We didn't receive any amendments, and we didn't have any information coming through from any of the members asking for any changes. So we asked that those minutes, that the motion be accepted that the minutes of the annual general meeting held on the 26th of May 2020 be confirmed. And the mover for that motion was Warren Cameron from the WASPs, and the seconder was Chrissy McNeese from the WASPs. So we will register those minutes as accepted, and we'll move on to talk about the annual report. Nope, skip 3 reports. Yep, we're all good there. Going to the next agenda item is the annual report, which means that I get to keep talking. There you go. Great. Okay, so we have given you the annual report, and we have put our the chairpersons and the chief executive officers reports in there, and also our other board members reports. But I would like to just take some time to talk through a few additional highlights. Well, I guess we can all sit here and know that it's a strange year. I don't need to tell you that, and we're back in it again in Victoria. It continues to present challenges, but on a personal note, it's been an amazing year for me because if you haven't noticed my name change, I had a wonderful opportunity to marry my partner of 6 years, and I married on Snap Lockdown Friday, and my new last name is McCrum. He is a 5th generation farmer, a pretty special guy. And we've had no honeymoon yet. It's been rescheduled twice, but we're going to keep trying. So on a personal note, it's been great. From a perspective of the Basketball Association, I'm sure that you can feel it, you see it, you read it, and you're involved in it. But we have a continuing commitment to safety and well-being for all of our members, our players, our coaches, our referees. We focus on, we do as a board focus on positioning us to be able to respond quickly to all of this change. And as you have seen in the recent announcements, we won the Basketball Victoria Association of the Year this year. And the explanation from that group that voted for us was that it was our unwavering commitment. And that won't change. We believe in the sport of basketball, and we want to continue to be able to operate this association with the utmost care and future growth that we can possibly do. A couple of other quick highlights that our partnership with Sport and Life Training, they're often called SALT, has been fantastic this year. We've run several programs with them, in particular one called Club Connect, which you'll see in Grant Harrison's report in the annual report. And this group has just been wonderful in supporting our members, and we'll continue to have that relationship with them, that partnership. And I encourage you, if you haven't looked at their website, to please take an opportunity to do so. They have a lot of great resources that the general public can tap into, and also that you can use in your teams, clubs, and associations. We had a great year, with the government's securing the funding for the expansion of SBC. We were a bit short, and the government stepped in and have met some of the additional needs to make sure that the expansion will meet what they've committed to Knox basketball. It will continue to be the highlight and a focus for us to get that kicked off. In June, they're saying in June, possibly July, we'll see the ground being broken and a groundbreaking ceremony at the State Basketball Centre, and some models that we'll put into the entry forum so you can see how it's going to look and where the different aspects will be located. So as you know, and I won't steal Grant's thunder because he'll speak next, is that we did return to sport before Christmas. It was a great opportunity for us to kick it, get it going, and start it before the holiday season. We had a really good turnout and response, and that has led us to continuing to really provide an avenue for young people and people who play the sport of basketball to get out of COVID and come out and participate and enjoy seeing their friends, family, and teammates again. I know this sounds like a joke, but Grant is an expert at securing grants. This man has secured every possible grant that we could apply for during this COVID period, and that's really positioned us well to continue to respond to this environment. It's tricky. We have to do it a lot, but the guy, I tell you, he's gone out there and written numerous requests and gone forward and presented on our behalf over and over. And we are well placed as an association to continue to offer the best experience that we can. It's important for us to thank our sponsors. We have had a great year where these people have hung in there and given us an enormous amount of support. And we hope that over the next coming period, we can return that favor. FTG Motor Group, Appleby Real Estate, SMS Personnel, Coca-Cola, Rebel Sports Knox, and our newest partner, KTS Recycling. Fantastic to have these people on board, and they're just wonderful contributors to the goals that we have set for Knox basketball. I think it's also important to thank the Deakin Melbourne Boomers and the Southeastern Melbourne Phoenix. Look, it's been a tough year for them too, but they have signed contracts with us, and they are still playing in our stadium, and they're offering a really excellent opportunity for our young people to see really high standards of basketball. Good luck to Southeastern Melbourne Phoenix. I know it's coming up for them in the finals, and we're going to look forward to seeing the Deakin Melbourne Boomers back on our courts very, very soon. So last but not least, you've all been patient. You've all supported us through these challenging times, and we really have a wonderful team. You can't ask any more of Grant Harrison, our CEO, and his leadership team and our operations team. They have really gone beyond the beck and call over the last year and put themselves out there to make all of this happen. The volunteers, the referees, the partners that we have, it's just, again, such a collective. We're honored as a board to be able to represent you. And on behalf of the board, I thank you. And we look forward to seeing all of you again soon, hopefully in person, as soon as we can. And if you ever have any questions, you can reach out to us. So thanks again, Daniel and the team. Thanks to the board. And I'll hand over to Grant, and he's going to give you some highlights on from his report.
Thanks, Michelle. Can everyone hear me? Yep, all good. Yeah, thanks for doing that, Michelle. That was good. I won't go on too long. As you all know, 2020 was just a full-on COVID year. We were right in the middle of it at our last AGM, and not much changed throughout the year, as you all are aware. I just wanted to update you all. So the annual report that we put out for this year, and the financials, the minutes and all that, we've now put on the website under key info. So that will be there a year in, year out. So if you need any information, just jump on the website and it's all there for you to have a look at. Essentially, during last year, it didn't really change much from the last AGM. So we were locked down till the 28th of November, when we were able to kick off our junior and senior domestic competitions again. I've said it once, I'll say it again. A massive effort from all of my staff. They were under the pump at that stage to get us back up and operating. The KBI board were fully supportive of that. And the new clubs, you guys just did an amazing job. And I know, we copped a little bit of negative feedback in relation to, do we come back before Christmas? Don't we? I felt it was important, so we sort of moved on with that. And you guys are great. The hard work you did behind the scenes, getting your teams ready in such a short amount of time was it was actually inspirational. So that's hand on heart. I really do thank you all for the effort that you put in. We were closed down for 9 months, essentially. It's a long time. I think Simon, I won't go too far into it, but Simon will detail, that our revenue was down to 2.4, which is normally $4.5 million a year. So we lost a lot of revenue. And to stay alive whilst you've got no money coming in the door, you've got staff, that you want to try and keep on your employment. It is very hard. It's very difficult. We jumped to it, the board and I. We were meeting, if not every fortnight, definitely every month. I was updating them with a weekly, if not fortnightly, cash flow forecast. It was just it was a long battle. It was a fight. But I'm really proud of the way that Knox Basketball came out of it. We were able to keep our staff employed, and I think probably one of the longest associations were able to do that, because most had stood down staff in March of last year, either on no pay or very minimal pay. So sure, we all took a pay cut, a severe one, and the staff were still able to chip in and roll their sleeves up when the time came. So I really thank them. Michelle mentioned the government grants that we applied, and I will go into that actually, because I think that sort of gets lost in sort of what was going on in the background last year. But a lot of I won't take all the credit for that. I've got a great team. Leanne and Nathan both spent a lot of time working through the grants, so I call it a good team effort. I'm very lucky that I've got a great team around me, and that makes my job a lot easier. I'll just go into that. So basically, just to break it down for you, just so you understand the amount of, I suppose, lobbying, seeking help, demanding it, even, screaming at the top of our lungs. This is the sort of effort that we put in. So we accessed the full 130,000 federal government cash flow boost. We were lucky to be able to get all of that. In turn, we also received 32,000 back in payroll tax we paid in 2019 from the state government, which was great. And we accessed a further 64,000 in state government grants that came through. So all that together, and if you remember in those times, a lot of that was about keeping people employed. So I made sure that we actually used a lot of that money to make to keep our staff employed, whilst also making sure that KBI survived. So added to that, we accessed JobKeeper. So we received $1.6 million in JobKeeper payments. Well, without that, I don't think many of us would have survived. And I also, wrote a number of times to Knox Council for assistance from them, and they were amazing. So Knox Council gave us rent relief, essentially for a full year from March to March, and we've started paying rent again. But I'm sure I'm just about to write them again about the recent lockdown. I can guarantee you they'll definitely look after us on that. We also pay into a capital improvement fund for both our venues, and they were suspended fully throughout that 1 year. I asked for 20,000 in financial assistance. Michelle sort of touched on when we went into COVID, we had to, lock down all of our outgoing expenses, shutting down electricity, gas. We went right down to the bare bones, but there was still, some 20 odd thousand every month that we just couldn't stop. So council kindly gave us 20,000, and this is public knowledge, so I'm able to tell you. So $20,000 a month in financial assistance from August 2020 right through to the end of April this year. That was amazing. They also paid for our courts to be resealed, which they don't normally do, which was $53,000, and an additional $18,000 to have the State Basketball Centre seats maintained. That total amount of funding and assistance that we got from Knox Council total close to $800,000, and without that we wouldn't have survived. So I can only thank Knox Council, the Mayor, Tony Doyle, especially the CEO. We met with him often, still do, and they have been amazing support. They do get criticised a lot, about, and we don't often always agree with what Knox Council do, but gee, they really saved us last year, and without them, things would have been different for us. So I really thank them. Added to that, we kept fighting, we kept lobbying. Jackson Taylor MP's not on, unfortunately, but I annoyed the crap out of him. I wrote him about 3 or 4 letters. He was kind enough to forward those on. Those letters reached the Community Sports Minister, Ros Spence MP. She even replied. I got as far as, getting to Martin Bakula. Nick Wakeling was also of a great help, in the background as well. And I met with the CEO of the Victorian Chamber of Commerce, Paul Guerra, who you see often on TV. He came out and met with me at the State Basketball Centre when we were able to try and, get us as much assistance as we could, and all that helped. So it was a hard year, it was a tough year, but we got through it. The good news is that, with us coming, I think a lot of it had to do with us coming back before Christmas, but, we're able to maintain a strong cash flow throughout last year. I want to say strong, a good cash flow through last year, and we've improved that this year to a strong cash flow. We've paid down all of our debt. We're literally debt-free and in a good, healthy position. We're looking at a fairly strong, well, when I say strong, a good surplus this year, even with the recent 2-week lockdown, believe it or not. It's not easy. We've still got to fight through. We still need assistance from Knox Council and others. We still need to get these government grants. We missed out on 3 weeks pretty much of revenue now. Hopefully we can get back this weekend, but who knows? So that, that does hurt. But in saying that, because we were in such a good position financially coming out of COVID, we're able to fight on this year and actually still be in a pretty good position. So I'd really like to thank my staff. I probably don't do it enough. I mean, it's one of those things when you've got a good team around you, you sort of just expect it, and they do. They put in a lot of hours that they don't get paid for. They're happy to roll their sleeves up. They do a lot of volunteering work after hours. Amazing team that I've got, and I wouldn't be able to do it without them. So thanks to them. I'd like to thank the board for their support of me this year, last year. It's been a tough 3 years with COVID right in the middle of it, but it's been fun. It's been a challenge, and Knox Basketball's in a good position. We really are. I'll let Simon go through the financials, and we did make a small loss last year, and I say small because there were reasons why it was at 300,000, but Simon can explain that further in his report. Finally, I would just like to say that Michelle Murray touched on the State Basketball Centre redevelopment. I know there's still a bit of angst out there about what's happening with Boronia, and it's been difficult. So we haven't held back on giving you information. It's just the fact that I and others have had to sign confidentiality agreements. So everything that we send out has to go through a comms working group and signed off by state government and Knox Council. We will be sending out comms to you very shortly on the State Basketball Centre and where it's at. There will be an event on, I think it's the 16th of June, where the minister's going to come out and announce it. But I want to get further comms out to you before all that happens. So you guys, I've argued that, you know, Knox basketball members deserve the right to have this information first. It's all good news. It's exciting. Knox basketball's getting this stage, pretty much everything that I've asked for and that we've demanded. Still fighting a few items here at the end, but I think we'll get there. The outcome is going to be good. And once the comms do come out, once I can update you further on the State Basketball Centre, and it does go public, I do intend on having a members forum, hopefully face to face. That's the plan, where we can get you guys out, walk you through the whole concept. You know, the renders. They're going to do a virtual fly through, show, you know, what areas are ours. You know, what we fought for, and what the new home for us is going to look like. The fight continues. You know, we still argue a lot of points. We don't want our business model to change too much. We want you guys to be able to transition from what you know now to there, and you know, and just be business as usual in a new venue, with everything that we need. So I'll keep you updated. Hopefully I haven't missed anything. I think that's everything in my notes. So yeah, that's me. Thank you.
Thanks, Grant. Well, we'll move on to agenda item number 6, the finance report, and ask Simon McMahon to please join into the conversation.
Thanks very much, Michelle, and Grant, thank you for the summary. As everyone knows very well, this year has been a mountain of a challenge. No one could possibly foresee how you could deal with such a financial event, nor could you expect to remain in operation by being shut for 9 months. We're very fortunate that we've received 75% of our annual revenue from government sources and other local government, state government and federal government support. I'm very pleased to see that Knox Basketball has stood up to the financial challenge. The team made tremendous personal and financial sacrifice, as Grant alluded to, took very substantial pay cuts to maintain their involvement with the company, so following the rules of JobKeeper. So when we were able to restart at Christmas time, we were in a very firm economic footing. And obviously that is due to the support from staff, the various levels of government, and you as members, because without you, we would not have been able to survive this. Further, as Grant said, our total revenue was 2.4 million for 2020 compared to 4.5 million the previous year. That's not quite 50% decrease, but again, largely due to government sources. The actual revenue of the business was between 500 and 600,000, so a massive decrease of nearly 90%. We did have a loss of about $300,000 for 2020, and that's because the centre and the centres that we operate are assets that have a replacement cost of over $100 million. So there is maintenance required even in a mothballed state. So I think we did a tremendous job in minimising those costs or deferring them, or arguing with suppliers sometimes to ask them to let those expenses go. Grant has done an amazing job. Presently, although the last 3 weeks have hurt pretty badly, we have a very strong cash flow. We have very good liquid assets. We have learnt from the last year's experience. We have probably just under 10 months operating expenses available to us in reserve should we go into another major lockdown beyond one of these short-term ones. So my one bit of business that I have to do formally is recommend elect an auditor. In past years, we've used Accrue Accounting and we've found them to be very satisfactory. It's my recommendation that they should continue for another term. If I can please get a mover and seconder. Michelle?
So if you could please, someone in the chat, please, okay, so we've got, who, okay.
Sorry, can I jump in?
Sure.
I did actually ask Leanne Creasy and Ian Williams if they would do that, kindly do that again for me. So if they're still happy, that we can use both of them.
That's fine. Let's move on.
Oh, good.
Thank you very much.
Terrific. Okay, now we're going to move on to agenda item 8, which is, we skipped Grant from 6 to 8. Am I missing 7? We're going to 8, Volunteer of the Year. Grant, you're going to read that out?
Yep, sorry, that's my fault, Michelle. Okay, so I did want to read this one out. Normally I wouldn't, but as you know, 2020 was not a big year for basketball. You know, it was, you know, really, I suppose, Feb, March, and then, you know, that last 4 weeks at the end. So this year the board has decided that Volunteer of the Year should go to our chaplain, Chris Littlechild. So I'd like to read out, you know, a little bit about Chris and sort of what he did last year. So Chris joined our organisation as chaplain back in 2015. So I'm told. If I'm wrong, I apologise. Over the past 6 or 7 years, Chris has mentored, counselled, and been an active listening ear to many Knox basketball members who have needed help during those times of despair, none unlike last year. The work that Chris performs on behalf of Knox basketball is extremely private and confidential, as you can imagine. So only Chris and those that he has reached out to truly know the impact that he has made and the number of people that he actually speaks to on a weekly, monthly or annual basis. There is no doubt that Chris has impacted and changed many lives in our organisation for the greater good. There was no time where Chris was more needed than obviously last year in COVID 2020. I can speak from my own knowledge that Chris often reached out to me and my staff during that period to check on us to make sure that we're all okay. And he continued to say that he was praying for Knox basketball and of all of us. So, you know, he was thinking of everybody at that time. We also know that he was certainly called upon by many of our members during that period. But as I said, you know, we don't know those true numbers. The role of, and this is the sort of why we decided to give Chris this award, because we feel that, you know, the role of chaplain goes unnoticed. You know, unless you reach out to him, you wouldn't know, you know, what he's doing in the background. And we feel that, you know, that this award is especially deserving, you know, through that 2020 COVID year. So, Chris, we are eternally grateful for the work that you do in helping the Knox basketball community in their time of need. And unfortunately, we're hoping that we'll be able to give this award to Chris face to face in our AGM meeting in May. I made sure that he was coming along. I told him that I can't remember what excuse I made up. Anyway, he was coming, and he was an apology tonight because he's not feeling well. So unfortunately, he's not listening to this. So, but we'll accept. I'll give Chris his award next time that I see him. So anyway, congratulations to Chris Littlechild.
Thanks, Grant. We'll move on to item number 9, which is the Club of the Year, and I'll introduce Peter Cameron, our Junior Domestic Chairperson, to talk through that award.
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. This year we've decided rather than having one Club of the Year, we're going to present it to all 16 clubs. Last year, as everyone knows, there's been a lot of hard work put in behind the scenes to get all the teams on the court. We gave you very little notice. So there's been a hell of a lot of work by clubs and their committees over the last 12 months to get the competition running. So rather than having one club, what we'll do is present an award probably at the next P&S meeting, so we can actually physically give you something next time we can actually meet face to face. So congratulations to all the clubs and their volunteers.
Thanks, Peter. And for those of you that might not know what P&S is, it is Presidents and Secretaries Club meeting. So we'll look forward to meeting with all of you and sharing that award. And we hope that you take the opportunity let all of your teams in your clubs know how pleased we are that they've continued to have the commitment and the dedication to moving us forward. Great, so we're up to agenda item number 10, which is the Players of the Year. And I'm going to ask Dennis to sign on. He's our Junior Raiders chairperson, and Dennis is going to take us through those awards.
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. I get to acknowledge two incredible athletes to all of you tonight. They're not only committed and talented basketballers, but they also represent the values of our association, which is terrific. And importantly, they've represented us in domestic competition, in their Junior Raiders program, and also in Youth League. So firstly, the 2020 Female Player of the Year is Zoe Jenkins, and her resume is absolutely amazing. 8 years at the Saints Junior Domestic Club, playing in our domestic competition, and also 10 years at Knox Junior Raiders and Senior Raiders combined. In recent years, she was part of the 2018 Knox Raiders Youth League Championship winning team. And also at secondary school in Box Hill College, she represented the team and won a gold medal at their national school championship. And she's really risen from there. In 2019, she represented the 18-1 girls, as a number of us know, and they won a silver medal in VC. And then she played Youth League in both 2019 and 2020 for our club. And in most recent times made the Victorian under 20 state team, which is just incredible. So congratulations to Zoe. You're an amazing player. And for those of you that don't know, she's actually left to play college basketball in the US, which is a terrific achievement. So we'll make sure that we give this award to her parents once we're out of COVID and recognise that accordingly. On to the Male Player of the Year. And the Male Player of the Year is Ivan Raja. And Ivan spent 8 years playing with Knox All-Stars at his junior domestic club, and is also an 8-year representative at Junior Raiders and Senior Raiders combined. He actually also was part of the championship winning team for our 16-1 boys in 2018, which was a memorable season, and made our youth league teams in 2019 and 2020. Whilst also representing the 18-1 boys. In recent times, he made the East Coast Challenge team for Victoria and was also recognised in the Victorian under-18 state team. So we'll make sure that Ivan's presented his award at either his next Youth League game or at an NBL 1 game. And congratulations, Ivan. So overall, Ivan and Zoe, well done. Two terrific players for Knox. Michelle and everyone on the call. Thank you.
Thanks, Dennis. And yes, and that's fantastic news. And we'll certainly catch up with Zoe, even if it's on Zoom. We'll all say hi to her. And thanks again. Congratulations to Ivan. Now, agenda item 11 is life membership. We did not receive any nominations for life membership this year. So we will move on to item 12 on the agenda, which is general business. And I just have a couple of things here that we need to bring up. And one is that I'd like to confirm the resignation of Brad Shee, our senior domestic chair and board member. He has contributed a lot to our board over a number of years. He's been one of the long-standing board members, and we want to thank him for his tireless commitment and the contribution he's brought to the senior domestic program, and to wish him well in his teaching career. And if you're not aware, he has a new son and a new young family with Megan and Brad. Congratulations to them on their new son. There's also a second item of business. Apologies, Grant, I'm going to add this one because I think that this individual has been associated with us for quite some time. If you're not aware, that Tony Doyle, the CEO of Knox Council, has elected not to stand for his new contract, and he will be departing on the 3rd of July, just coming around the corner. Tony has had an enormous influence in our relationship with the council and has worked tirelessly with Grant and I, particularly over the last year, really for the last 2 years, on the SVC expansion. So if you want to see that announcement, it's on the Knox City Council website. But I would like it to be in our minutes that we're grateful that he's put the effort in that he has in the work that he's done with us well, since I've been associated with the board, he's been great. So I don't have any other items of general business. We might move into the elections, and I will hand over to Mitchell Nevin, who is the vice chairperson of Knox.
Thanks, Michelle. Hi, all. This year, there have been the following board elections. So the chairperson of KBI, it's a 2-year term. The finance director, also a 2-year term. Chairperson of Junior Raiders Program, a 2-year term. And the chairperson of the Senior Domestic Competition, that is also a 2-year term. So for the position of chairperson of KBI, we had one nomination. That nomination came from Michelle McCrum, nominated by Ian Hubble and seconded by Lauren Cameron. As there were no other nominations, this position, therefore, Michelle McCrum, as the only nominated person, you are hereby elected. Congratulations, Michelle.
Thanks, Michelle.
Now that you're elected, Michelle, I'll hand back over to you, and you can read out the rest of them.
Thanks very much, everybody. Like, it's been a great couple of years in the role, and I wouldn't miss it for quid, put it that way. I'm very excited about what we've got ahead and all that wonderful progress that you've just heard us talking about. And I think as a member of the board now for 6 years, it just goes to show that you can bring COVID, but we can still beat it. So I'm really proud of what we've got happening here. So in the finance director role, we have, as Mitch said, it's a term of 2 years, and the nomination that was put forward was Simon McMahon, who is our current incumbent, and he was nominated by Craig Freeman and seconded by Leanne Crease. There were no other nominations for that position, therefore Simon McMahon, as the only nominee, is duly appointed. So welcome back, Simon. He's been doing a great job, everybody. You just heard him speak for a minute there on the finance report. But Simon, if you want to say a few words, you're welcome to jump in there now.
Thank you very much for the honour of serving, and I look forward to being part of the team that brings the new SBC to reality, which sets us up for the next 40 years.
Thanks, Simon. The next position is chairperson of Junior Raiders, and that's a term for 2 years. And the nomination for that role was Dennis Atakador. I do this every time, Dennis, apologies. Nominated by Craig Freeman and seconded by Leanne Crease. And again, there were no other nominations for that position. Therefore, Dennis is the only nominee as duly appointed. Thanks, Dennis. Did you want to say a few words?
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. Only that the committee and our director of basketball met yesterday, and we're just working really hard to get the kids back playing. Hopefully in the next few weeks. So fingers crossed, everyone. It'd be great to have all the Raiders kids back.
And it's terrific also, Dennis, to see that you've brought forward, in conjunction with your Raiders committee, a new charter for the Junior Raiders going forward, and we're really pleased to see that, and the board's going to be going through that in the next week or so, and we'll be providing support to stand that up and continue to grow that fantastic committee. So thank you again for that work, that hard work. Okay, the next role is the chairperson of Senior Domestic, and we had 2 nominees for this role. So that means that we do actually have a voting process, which unfortunately cannot happen on this call. It needs to come through a secured voting process, like we followed last year through a company called Vero Voting. So the term is for 2 years, and the nominations are Karen Westcott, and that she's nominated by Duncan Hurst and seconded by Kristen McNeese. And the second nomination is Mitchell Kennedy, and he was nominated by Ian Williams and seconded by Leanne Crease. So what we'll be doing is you will receive your email. The voting lines are now open. Please take the time to go and look at the candidates' CVs and their videos. They put some lovely videos together talking about their passion for basketball and for being a member of the board. It's so if you haven't received your email, please let us know. And the results, it closes at 7 p.m. on the 15th of June, and I'll send out the announcement on Wednesday, the 16th of June at 1 p.m. So please contact us if you did not receive your email to vote. Very good. Well, look, that's all that up to that point. Now we've got the item number 14, which is our junior domestic committee meeting. So I'll have Peter, you stay on and address that. And, you know, really, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone for giving us your time tonight and for listening and sharing and continuing. You know, it is a crazy time, and keep safe. Please take care to, you know, to let people know what's going on in your life. It is a tough time, and we wish you all the best. And we look forward to having everybody back in the stadium again. Fingers crossed for announcements tomorrow. We'll see how we go. So are you going to, Peter, you're going to keep people on the video?
Won't take long, Michelle. Yeah, firstly, can I thank all the clubs for the last year. I know we threw a lot of hurdles at you with everything from team submissions, grading, all sorts of other stuff, and everyone's been really understanding and giving us a hand where they could, everything else. To the members of JDC, same to you, you've all stepped up when we've needed you to assist with a lot of different things this year because of, you know, the different challenges we've had set for us. So thank you to all of you. We've got nominations for every position, so we don't need elections or anything like that. I'll send out an email to everyone the next day or two with positions and their responsibilities and everything like that. So you'll all get that in the next day or two. So that's probably about it from me, really. Hello.
Great, thank you, Peter. So we'll close the meeting and say thank you again for everybody's contribution and time. If you have any questions, please shoot them through. The grant store is always open, and we'll look forward to chatting with you all again soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
So Grant, we're going to keep the board members on here. Great, thanks.
Well done, guys.
Thank you.
Confirming the meeting is closed at 8:17 p.m.